A brand new cape has come to both versions of Minecraft this week. The vanilla cape is available for anyone who bought both Minecraft, Java, and Bedrock on the same Microsoft account before June of 2022. If you didn't do it before that date, even if you own both versions but they weren't on the same Microsoft account, then you will not get the cape. Although even people who own both versions of Minecraft on PC on the same account, like me, are seeing that it's not showing up yet, so we'll have to see what goes on with that. However, the real question here is, why are there different capes for Minecraft Bedrock and Minecraft Java? I mean, like I showed off last week, the list of Java capes is this long and the list of Bedrock capes is this long, and there's no overlap between the two until this new vanilla cape. And the simple answer to this question is Minecraft Bedrock and Minecraft Java are separate games. The much more complex answer to this question is that the cape system on Java is something they really never liked. So many people will sell capes and sell accounts of capes, and it even leads to harassment for people with super rare capes. And so the system on Bedrock is that most cosmetic items are not things you get for attending one event 7 years ago. They're things that you buy and add to your skin, with capes kind of being this same prestige element. But how many things of prestige are there really for Minecraft Bedrock? There's this vanilla cape, and there's the cape that you got for being there at the Minecon event in 2019. And so in conclusion, there's like three main reasons. First is that they're separate games. The second is that Minecraft Bedrock is much more heavily focused on ways you can customize your character via payment, whereas Minecraft Java is, did you do something years ago you couldn't have possibly done? Now have the cape. And then the third reason is that, well, I mean, Bedrock just hasn't had a cape system anywhere nearly as long as Java, and, you know, let's be honest, the incentives there are towards releasing fewer of these capes, and, yeah, maybe we see the reason for that later. My big grand theory is that at some point they're going to start selling capes for Bedrock players, because if you think about every other game, microtransactions for cosmetics are just the norm now, and so it makes sense that eventually they'll start selling these for Bedrock. Speaking of selling things for Bedrock, you might have bought a next-gen console with the idea that you could play RTX in mind. They literally did some of the demos for RTX on an Xbox One Series X, and, you know, the PS5 was also mentioned as will be getting this ray tracing feature. So where is the ray tracing? Well, the only answer we have is that the Minecraft RTX, as people call it mostly, was actually renamed to Minecraft DXR earlier this year. No one uses that name. We can call it Minecraft Ray Tracing, maybe would be simple. But Minecraft with the ray tracing and the beautiful views like this one. I mean, let's be honest, on this channel, I've shown off ray tracing so many times before. I even beat Minecraft with ray tracing turned on. It was beautiful. And anyway, so I think that's literally the title of a video. But interestingly enough, like Minecraft RTX was renamed to Minecraft DXR because it became available for select AMD GPUs. Anything that has DirectX capable cards can use this ray tracing feature. And so when they changed that, when they stopped making it a Nvidia exclusive deal, it looked like a good sign for the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, which do actually use AMD-based chips for their GPUs. It seemed as though, once the exclusivity had run out, that finally we could move on to the world where everyone could use RTX, including console users. However, this is the trend for Minecraft. They get people excited and show off some really amazing graphical or improvements to consoles, and then they don't seem to materialize. And I do understand on a business level that PC players make up a larger percent of their player base than console players maybe do, and mobile players are the biggest market, and so why focus on ray tracing when mobile players can't do it? But I also think it's so misleading for Minecraft as a game, and indeed for Microsoft as a company, to market the Xbox Series X saying that Minecraft can look like this, when Minecraft can only look like this. What makes it even more ridiculous is the fact that they accidentally included RTX in a beta. You had to enable a few settings, but one of the beta versions of Minecraft on the Xbox Series X did support ray tracing, but they went in and they disabled it, so I really have no idea what they're thinking. It has been years and they haven't officially cancelled it, but you know, Minecraft waits years until everyone's forgotten about something, then they say, yeah, oopsie, we weren't actually doing that in the end. As you can probably tell from the list of features which are coming soon, but then are never actually coming soon. Speaking of coming soon, by the way, why is it 1.20 and not 2.0? Every single week I get dozens of questions asking why is the update called this and not this, because if you were counting legitimately, you'd go from 1.9 up to 2.0, right? But we actually went from 1.9 to 1.10 because these aren't fractional numbers, they're just a series of numbers separated with the dots. That is the way that that is the way that every software development works, and so it's not 1.9 as in a fractional number, it's 1.9, and after 1.9 can come 1.10, all the way up to 1 million if we really want to. But anyway, yeah, 1.20 is going to be the next update, as we all know. However, here's an interesting question, because Corbin asks, do you think that when they add a new dimension, it should be a good dimension, such as a sky dimension, or a bad dimension, like the Nether? And obviously, a new dimension should be a good one, because I want good updates only. But more seriously, there's a really interesting game design question here, right? Because when it comes to adding new content, it seems like you should balance out the bad of the Nether with the good of a brand new dimension, but I actually think that every other dimension besides the overworld in Minecraft should be a challenge in and of itself. I mean, yeah, you might think that another challenge would overlap with the Nether, but as long as they're different challenges and they've got different rewards in exchange for those, I think you can use dimensions to do really interesting things. If you make too many good dimensions, let's say there's the sky dimension, and let's say there's just all sorts of like overworld variations, then now you're splitting your Minecraft progress across multiple of these different and the game kind of changes from being Minecraft to being dimension hopping. Whereas if every dimension has its specific purpose, I mean, the Nether is where you go for all these hellish blocks and the transportation. The End is where you go to fight the dragon, and for, okay, let's be honest, not too much else right now besides getting shulker boxes and maybe some end cities and wings and stuff. But like, yeah, every dimension can have its unique purpose, its unique challenge, and its unique rewards for going through that challenge in that purpose. And I think that if you make too many good ones, you would dilute the overworld. That's my take, though. Let me know in the comments down below how you would respond to that question, because I think it is one of those interesting game design points of you need to make every dimension worthwhile, otherwise you're diluting the current balance of Minecraft. And also, I think this comment really proves why you need an end update before adding another one, because what would another update add that an end update could not? The answer is nothing besides the thrill of going through a brand new portal. Speaking of a brand new portal, why do we still love the Nether update, but not 1.17 Part 1, Part 2, or Part 3? Still wonders why it's the case, even if we know developers have struggled a lot. Well, here's the thing, right? I think people generally judge an end update not by how hard developers worked on it, in their perceived opinion, but by the end result and, like how well it worked for them as a player. I don't care that 1.3 was harder to develop than 1.4. I like that 1.4 had more stuff we care about to this day, including the Wither, by the way. And so, yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that 1.18, also known as 1.17 Part 2, according to Blue Elf, 1.18 actually is a really liked update. I think when you look at the new caves for the first time ever, you realize, man, this really did do an amazing thing. The new cliffs are definitely good, and the new generation is like, it's good stuff, but the new caves are when I go, man, we did a good update here. However, the reason 1.17 Part 1, or Part 3, also known as 1.19, the reason I think those updates are less liked is because they kind of just added some new things and didn't give you this new sense of wow and exploration. I mean, the Deep Dark and the Ancient City are fun, a little bit, but they're super rare and they're not organic parts of Minecraft. You go specifically out of your way to find them. The Mangrove Swamp is the more organic exploration part of the game, and it's really just a piece of wood and some new mud blocks, except those mud blocks are findable anywhere else, so it's just a new type of wood. And yeah, I think making new things out of wood is a great update, but it isn't necessarily enough exploration to match 1.18 or 1.16 with a whole dimension update. And yeah, that's something that I'm curious to see how they follow up. Just a reminder, October 15th is when we're seeing what's in 1.20. Incredibly curious, looking forward to watching it with all of you, but I'm also looking forward to answering this question, because what counts as a question? And it's a really good point, right? This doesn't have a question mark at the end, but you know that it's a question. However, you can say a statement with a question mark at the end, and it's still very much a statement, like, subscribe to IBX Toy Cats? You know, it's not really a question, is it? Because the answer is, yes, I don't want house fires. And so, yeah, the next few questions are actually in response to my beating Minecraft on a mountain video. I made 2 in real life videos over the last week, and a lot of people enjoyed both of them, so thank you for that. But Snails Are Dumb says, you have to pay to drive in the UK, and it's interesting because I mentioned in the video, there is a zone of London you have to pay to drive in. However, the weird thing about the UK is, despite many of the pitfalls and the fact that people don't like the driving over here, it is actually one of the freest countries in the world to drive in. There are no toll roads. There is literally one toll road in the entirety of the UK, the M6 toll, if I'm not mistaken. There are toll bridges and there's toll crossings and stuff like that, but there is only one toll road. And then there are zones where if your car is not environmentally friendly, you pay for the pollution that you're putting directly into people's lungs. I mean, if there's 1,000 tourists walking around and you have your car right next to them, you're polluting all of their lungs just to get your journey done slightly quicker. Don't you think you should pay a little bit more? It's an interesting question, because in reality, taxing emissions guns tends to be attacks on the poor. But, you know, it's not. It's too deep a question for this video right here. But it is a fact. You pay to drive in central London, which is a system I like more than toll roads. The problem with toll roads is you just take the other roads around them and it results in more congestion there. You should pay a toll to be in a certain area of high traffic, and that usually doesn't just include one road. I think the reason we do it as one road is because it's like politically easy to be like, this one road is where the money comes in, everything else is just magically free. I mean, it's not free, we all pay for it, but you know, let's not think about that. Just like how a lot of people have been thinking about and asking, Toycat, do you live in Vegas, New York, or England? And this is a really good question, Chance Kaufman, and I guess I haven't really ever addressed it here. So to answer the question definitively of whether I live in Vegas, New York, or England, yes, I do. Anyway, the next question comes in from the DA1NX. The same thing happened to my year-long survival world. How do you fix this? This is, of course, referring to my super flat world, which did break in its entirety, turned into a flat world, and which was entirely unrecoverable. The file itself is gone, it's corrupted, and in defense of Mojang here, even though it's a stupid bug to have happen, my PC did crash, and usually every piece of software will have some form of bugs when your PC crashes, unexpectedly, so you know, I can't blame that entirely on them. However, I am a little bit sad that I lost so much progress. I'm still working on seeing what I can do about that, don't you worry, but what can you do about it? If you don't have a backup, your world is probably lost forever. You'll be pleased to know. Just like how you might be pleased to know that Shannon thinks that Andrew thinks COVID is a hoax, question mark. This is a funny one because I think I was talking about Mojang cancelling some events because of COVID, including this year, by the way. But I want to just go right on the track record I mentioned now. Everyone should acknowledge that COVID is a real thing, right? We can argue about how much damage the disease itself caused. We can argue about how much damage we as a society have caused, and I guess we're all living through that argument right now, like, as it turns out, you can't turn off the economy like a tap without serious ramifications that we're all now suffering through. But yeah, I think the more interesting point is that what I tried to say in my videos, and what I think is not controversial anymore. At the time, I was seen as crazy for saying this, but we managed it so poorly. If you're going to go back in time and do anything about this, you wouldn't do exactly what we did. I mean, you might go like more stringent. You might go for the approach of, hey, every other health crisis in history, what we do is we do the research, we do the advice, we help people out when they need it, but we tell people what we think is the best idea. We don't try and force it. And even if you are going to try and force it, the measures we used were so strange. I mean, from talking about things like the 2-week lockdown to flatten the curve that lasted for 6 months, to talking about Americans just banned Europeans from the country. Do you know how much my life went through crazy turmoil because of the fact that America decided, yeah, if we just ban Europeans, we probably don't have to do anything else. It's been a weird 2 years, and the only thing that I'm always trying to raise is you should not look at the last 2 years as, yeah, mission done, we did really well. Because it's like, well, actually, not only have we destroyed the economy worldwide and also people's mental health. This is the biggest mental health crisis ever because, as it turns out, humans need socialization. But also, if you look at countries that had super restrictive measures, excluding islands and whatnot, but if you look at countries with super restrictive measures versus ones without, people died at roughly the same rate. And so it's like, man, we did all of that and we didn't even save that many people. It's like, man, this is like the worst mismanagement of an issue. Like, if we had saved tens of millions of lives, we'd still have to look at ourselves and say at what cost. But I don't actually think we did. I think we had all the cost and none of the gain. And yeah, that's why I always, when I approach it, I don't try to, it's like the most friendly, sociable approach to say to everyone, like, oh yeah, we just did this thing that was really important. Everyone needs to feel like we all suffered for a cause. But I think it's important as someone with a platform to say, actually, if we're ever going to go through something like this again, and the course of human history makes it increasingly likely that, yeah, at some point there will be another bit, the plagues and diseases are a part of the human experience. There will be another pandemic before you die. It's important to know what happened here. We might all feel better if we believed we did a really good job and we all just suffered for these 2 years where we saved literally billions of people. But I actually don't think we did, and I think you learn so much more from your mistakes than your successes, and you definitely learn more from your mistakes than pretending your mistakes were successes. And yeah, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm going crazy. Either way, though, I am going to be taking a few days off. I'm going to be in the United States of America over the next week or so. And yeah, I'm just going to take a few days off, enjoy some time. I think as a result, there'll be a few different videos. Also, my live streams won't be coming back until next week, but I'm looking forward to doing one soon. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one, you baboon.